Alright, YouTube, here's my E-maxx, Traxxas E-maxx. It was originally it was the brushed dual motor with the 550s in it. I changed it to the brushless Mamba Monster, the Castle Creations 22 kV. Doing this video to kind of like a pros and cons for people that haven't changed anything on theirs yet. Just to tell you what I'd do differently if I hadn't spent the money already. Let's start with the bad, what I wouldn't do. I definitely wouldn't go with any Castle Creations products. The Mamba Monster 22 kV motor is excellent. Real high powered, amazing torque, real fast. It makes, with a combination of these two batteries and this motor and the speed control that's supposed to be sitting here, it will actually go about 65 miles an hour, maybe faster, I'm not sure, depending on gearing. But right about 65 is the fastest you probably want to go with an E-maxx, because I noticed with mine when it was running that once it got going about 50, the tires started to balloon a little bit, and it made the front end start to feather like this, to where it almost looked like it wanted to come off the ground. And it was really hard with the throttle to even keep the front end down, because it wants to do wheelies at about 50 miles an hour. I'm not sure if that's really has to do with the torque, or if it's just the aerodynamics of it, because it's so high in the front. But it basically wants to do wheelies just as it hits bumps going that fast. So if you want to go that fast, you probably want to go with the r-revo, because it's a little bit lower to begin with. You can lower these with the shocks, of course, but again, once it gets going that fast, it just lifts itself up back to the high point anyways. But okay, let me get to the real part while I'm making this video, is to warn people that are thinking about doing this same setup, because I really didn't know a whole lot about RC cars when I bought this. I only bought it because I'm recovering from a motorcycle injury. But they told me at the RC shop that if I got this motor, the Castle Creations speed control, and these two batteries, that it would go 60 miles an hour plus. I got these batteries, the Tenergy 11.1 5000 milliamp 30C blast power, off of eBay. I think the eBay account is all battery something or other. But it's actually the Tenergy company. You're dealing with them direct through eBay, so you're not getting charged by a middleman or somebody that's going to mess around with you. Really good buy. I think I paid about $70 each battery, whereas if you were to go to the hobby shop for this, it's about a $250 battery. Quite a steal on eBay. Okay, back to the truck. What I changed out on it that I would recommend everybody changes out on is these outer knuckles, because mine busted on me, especially because I like to use the offset rims. You can see by my finger that the rims are offset about an inch from the bolt to the actual outside of the rim, which gives the truck a little more wider stance. It gives you a little more stability when you're going that quick. But the problem is it puts a lot of weight on this right here, on this joint, and if your truck jumps off the ground and it lands sideways like this, then it puts a lot of stress on this upper joint, and that's how mine broke. So you want to get these, their lifetime warranty, like all RPM parts, which is really cool, as long as you don't just bash it into a telephone pole at 60 miles an hour, then they'll replace it basically. So I got RPM towers, really good. I definitely like the RPM parts. They have no complaints on them. Intigi shocks, I got these for a good deal. I had to replace the O-rings because they leaked a little bit. I guess that's a pretty common problem with Intigi parts. I didn't know at the time. Intigi bulkheads and the gearboxes. The gearboxes are cool because the plastic ones got really hot when I changed over to brushless, and they started leaking oil. So unless you don't mind spending hours at a time taking your truck apart, to change these things, then you're going to want to go with metal gearboxes. But you also have to get the gears as well, because you can't put your gears to the new E-maxx in these boxes. You have to get the old gears as well. So you need to get them used on eBay or something. It's the only way to do it. Just got the metal skid plates. Not too big on aluminum parts, just got the basics. The only thing aluminum is the shocks, gearboxes, bulkheads, and skid plates. The rest of that stuff's just added weight. You don't need it. The back. This is definitely something I'd recommend anybody getting. It's the RPM True Track rear end. And if you look at your stock truck, your rear A-arms are going to be identical to your front A-arms. It's the same exact setup. They didn't change a thing. All they did was this little tie rod that steers your truck. All they did was make this go to a fixed point so that it can't turn. And you'll see that. If you look at the back of your truck, you'll see a little pole that comes off of here and it goes to right here on your bulkhead. And that's their, I guess, cheap way of just mass producing the truck. Anyhow, what this does is it keeps the wheel at an exact -1.5 degree, so that no matter if the truck's in any position, the camber stays the same. Definitely an upgrade I'd recommend. And then the back, basically the same back here. RPM tower, gearbox, Integee bulkheads, Integee skid plate. I got this little wheelie bar on eBay just because it looked cool. It's probably not the best one to get though. I like the dual wheel ones as opposed to the center wheel because they're a little more stable. But it's also not that strong really. It flexes a little bit, as you can see. So I had to put an Integee skid plate behind it just to give it a little more rigidity. Oh yeah, and back to the Castle Creations. The real reason why I'm making this video, I would not buy anything made by Castle Creations. Even though this motor is probably the best motor you could possibly get for an RC car right now, the problems you're going to have with the speed control just aren't worth it. With mine, it worked great with the metal hydrate cheaper batteries, but as soon as I got these batteries, which they say is the perfect combination because you're running 22.2 volts, 5000 mph, and then 30C, it makes the truck real impressive. But the problem I had is that mine ran great the first 2 times I used it, and then the speed control completely melted, and I sent it back to Castle Creations. They made it sound like it was no big deal and they're going to send it right back to me within a week. Right as of today, it's been over a month. I still haven't received it. I sent them an email yesterday complaining, saying, you know, where's the thing at? And they sent me an email back saying we'll try to get it to you within the next couple weeks. So here I am. I've only owned it only worked for 2 days, and they've had it for a month now. By the time I'm scheduled to get it back, it'll be over a month and a half. So I'm just warning you guys, Castle Creations is real unorganized. They're not nearly as professional as everybody tries to make them sound. Just beware.